Hi, welcome to Bacon and Eggs. I am Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill, and the day has finally arrived.
We certainly hope you've enjoyed our last few episodes, and I think you did with Ben being here, and y'all seem to really like the Christmas special.
But we're back to Marvel. Isn't that exciting?
It's so exciting, and for the next few weeks, we're going to get you ready for the release of
Black Panther.
So that means we're diving into what they call Phase 3.
Which is just a really super fancy way of saying the next 6 Marvel movies.
I think it's like a cheap way of saying it. I think they could have come up with like the Age of the Infinity War and Phase 3.
Right, because it was like Phase 1, Avengers Assembled, and then it was like Phase 2.
Right. So we hope you enjoy what we've got coming up. Whether you like the movies or not, we hope you like us.
And if you haven't listened to the first 12 episodes on the first 12 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies,
you should probably go do that.
You're probably going to be a little confused if you don't.
But regardless, we are going to dive right in. And, Ethan, honestly, this one, everybody's in it except for 2. So
yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying you might be a little confused.
We could background our characters a little bit.
I suppose so. Anyway, Tyler, what did you think of Captain America: Civil War?
Ethan, I liked it.
I did too. It was a good movie.
I liked it a lot. I really, really enjoyed it. I think that there was some stark turns in the way characters act. Specifically with that character.
You're super funny.
Just like turned on a dime right going into this one.
Yeah. Anyway, this movie came out. On May 6th, 2016.
Nope, May 16th.
It is May 6th. It is May 6th. I wrote it wrong.
Okay.
It's May 6th, 2016, and that was 606 days ago.
That is astonishingly recent.
Yep, like a year and a half ago.
I don't feel like I just saw this in theaters.
I do. I feel like it was this year.
Nope. I feel like I saw Ant-Man in theaters more recently than this. That may be because I didn't see Ant-Man in theaters at all.
Yeah, you saw Ant-Man on our couch with me.
It's true. I did. I don't think I remembered it.
I don't think so. But anyway, they made this movie on a really tight $250 million budget.
$250 million. I think at this point, Tony Stark, though, is getting 50 of that just to be in the
Robert
movie.
Downey Jr. is getting $50 million just to put on the suit.
Which,
and go a few rounds.
I would pay upwards of $2,000 just to put on the suit. So
I mean, I don't know if you would or not. That seems like a lot of money.
It does seem like a lot of money. You could probably buy one for less.
Yeah. Anyway, it definitely did all right. They made that money back and then some. It made in the box offices a whopping $1.135 billion.
I got a 91 critic score, an 89 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm not surprised by. Tomatoes, Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not surprised by. I think those pretty well make sense. And I can understand why some fans would be, like why 10% of fans would be a little bit not in love with it.
Well, I mean, it's never going to get a perfect score. There's always going to be some dude, and especially the kind of people that go and rank movies on Rotten Tomatoes. They're like, this movie is garbage.
I don't even do that.
This movie is trash.
But I think the most astonishing score here, Ethan, is its Metacritic score, where it scored a 75.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
That ain't bad at all.
That's a passing grade. Very few movies we review get those.
Yeah, I think Back to the Future did.
Yeah, I believe so. But I mean,
I don't think Back to the Future Part 2 did.
I don't remember. Depends on what grade scale you're going on.
Forgettable movie, really.
Yeah. We've also just reviewed a lot of movies in the last 4 months.
That's
and
true.
They all fall somewhere pretty much between like 60 and 80 on the Metacritic.
I don't think Polar Express did. I think that did pretty terrible.
I think that was in the 50s.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think it's like school. Like, you can't really get below a 50 on the Metacritic. Like, it's not possible to fail that bad. I mean, it is.
I don't know. I just read a pretty scathing review of The Greatest Showman.
I don't know. I saw a great movie about a bad movie, and I also saw a bad movie. So.
That was about a bad actor, right?
What?
No, he's not an actor in the movie.
Huh?
The great movie.
What are you talking about?
The Room is not about an actor.
No, The Room is just a movie.
Okay.
The Disaster Artist is about The Room.
It was about the making of.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mark.
If you guys haven't seen The Disaster Artist, I think you probably missed it in theaters at this point, but you should go watch it on Redbox or whatever. It was really good.
I'm going to pull up a piece of trivia real quick so that we can get into this.
Okay. Well, before you do that, I just want to let you guys know, we haven't done this for the past movies, but we're getting to more recent movies, so this is going to have spoilers.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to have spoilers. So, there'll be a nice little break here, and you'll hear like a swoop, and after that swoop, there'll be spoilers.
I might just superimpose you saying swoop.
As our new swoop sound. After the swoop, there will be spoilers. So 3, 2, 1. Swoop!
There it is. I'm actually not looking for trivia. I'm looking for a quote. Longing Longing is the first word.
Oh, the words?
Yeah, longing, rusted, 17, daybreak, furnace, 9, benign, homecoming, 1, freight car. Yeah. And because the word homecoming is in there, it is very hard not to think that this is some foreshadowing.
Agreed
or
entirely.
I don't know if rusted refers to Iron Man because iron rusts, and 17 refers to either Spider-Man or Scarlet Witch, who I think is pretty young.
Again, she's in her 20s.
How did we decide that?
We covered this in Age of Ultron, where you decided she was scantily clad. For the small child, she was not.
She was scantily clad, and I was not happy about it.
Well, she is probably more clad in this movie. Slightly.
She's a lot more clad.
They still hit you with the cleavage.
They do.
More so than any other character in any of these movies.
Okay.
What?
Why does nobody give this guy the mission report for December 16th, 1991?
Because I don't think that they want it publicized that they murdered Howard Stark.
Got it.
I think they're sitting there like, hey, this Tony Stark guy got pretty powerful. We should probably not try to piss him off any more than he's already pissed off.
I mean, but how convenient would it be for Chris Evans, the Captain Americas of the world, if Tony Stark was focusing all his energy on Hydra?
Okay, but it's not Hydra's practice to give up information either.
It's true.
They would literally rather kill themselves.
It's true. They do.
So God only knows what that guy was up to, or that the Colonel didn't know what Captain Nemo was up to, whatever his name is. Zemo.
What do you think of that dude?
Who, Frederick Zoller from Inglourious Basterds?
Yeah, Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah, I liked him. He was a good villain.
Yeah, he's a little creepy.
Speaking of villains, I liked this movie from a villain standpoint because it was more like almost like an old school superhero movie, like a Batman movie or like one of the original Spider-Mans, where we had like a mini boss at the beginning.
A lot of them have mini bosses, don't they?
Do they?
I think the Captain America movies, this is the exact same way that the other one starts.
Do they?
Yeah, where he goes to the ship and he fights
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
Maybe the same guy.
No. The same guy helped him. Yeah. Rumlow, who is Crossbones.
Frank Grillo.
Yeah. Crossbones helped him.
He just looks
fight.
like Deathstroke. I mean,
he is Crossbones.
I know, I can see that.
Okay, I'm just telling you. They fought that together. But I don't know. It kind of stuck with me more. It reminded me of like Spider-Man 1, like the original one,
where he fights.
Where he was chasing down the guy that killed Uncle Ben.
Oh yeah, and he fights Bonesaw.
Bonesaw is ready. Yeah,
I'm not ready for Bonestar. Bonestar.
Well, Bonestar is dead. R.I.P. Macho Man Randy Savage. He's dead.
Savage, but he was so savage.
He was. But let's dive into this movie.
Yeah, I liked it. So the first lines we get where he's saying like rusted or like
yeah,
I already
that is
forgot
the first word. It's longing.
Longing. I thought it was pining in my mind.
Longing, he rusted says, freight car.
17, daybreak, furnace, 9, benign, homecoming, 1, freight car.
Yep.
And then the Winter Soldier.
The Winter Soldier is awoken, and he's just like, I am ready to comply. And they call him Soldats.
Does your Bucky Barnes stock rise or fall in this movie?
I don't know. This is the movie that I think a lot of our fans have been waiting for, in that we've come down on very different sides of these coins. You have...
Okay, but your character totally changed his entire persona.
You have outwardly said that you are Team Cap.
I am Team Cap.
And I am Team Tony.
Tony wouldn't even be Team Tony.
No, but I'm with Tony the whole way is the thing. Like, do I agree that they should have turned everything over to Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross to somehow manage to get himself to be Secretary of State after the fiasco that was the Incredible Hulk? Because let me tell you, he made that thing about like, well, if I misplaced a 30-ton or 30 megaton nuclear weapon, they would take my job away. And I'm like, you kind of did. You kind of misplaced the Incredible Hulk.
And he misplaced, I'm not convinced that Abomination is dead.
Oh, no. We talked about that in that episode.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's ever coming back.
No, but he's probably terrorizing, like, somewhere that we really don't care about, like an actual third world country.
Right. Not Wakanda.
Not Wakanda, who is probably the richest country in the world. And, Sokovia, which is Eastern Europe, so it's not the actual third world.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think if I don't think Thunderbolt Ross would have been Secretary of State. But anyway, I wouldn't have gone with him. But like, Bucky is the biggest liability of anybody. If you can say just like a bunch of words to him and he just freaks the F out and starts murdering people left and right.
He listens to orders when you do that.
Yeah, but like, then you can order him to do whatever you want. That's a liability.
Yeah, but I mean, that's less of a liability than, like, the Hulk.
Right, and that's the point I just made.
You just said Bucky was the biggest liability.
Okay, but the point I made is that, like, we need to keep control of these liabilities, and they're not. So I don't necessarily think the way they came up with it was the best way to do it, but I agree with the oversight thing.
No.
I mean, I do. Like, you can say no, but I I do.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't like governments have agendas, and agendas change. Governments are made of people with agendas.
Okay, and so are the Avengers.
No, Vision is literal pure
right, and he was in favor.
Mind.
He was in favor of oversight.
I would. Okay.
He was. I'm
cannot
so
believe
glad you made that
Vision.
point. I'm so glad you made that point.
I cannot believe Vision was for this.
I'm so glad you made that point because you just shot yourself in your own foot.
It would have made more sense if Vision.
I 100% agree, but it didn't. That's not the way the movie was written. Booyah.
Do you think if we stack up the sides real quick? I want to pull up who's on. You
talking about the teams?
Yeah.
Teams? What teams?
Let me see. Here are the two superhero teams. I got cheatsheet.com here. Team Iron Man is War Machine, Black Widow, Black Panther, Vision, and Spider-Man versus Team Cap, which is Hawkeye, Falcon, Bucky, Ant-Man, Scarlet Witch, and I guess that's it. Which, just on paper, who do you have winning this fight?
Probably Vision and anybody facing Vision.
I would say that, but Scarlet Witch can literally kill everybody just because.
I mean, she can, but she fell to Vision in this movie.
So here's the matchups that I think
it's
are
not
important.
Team Tony and Team Cap. It's Team Scarlet Witch versus Vision. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, they are by far the most powerful. I mean,
I'm Team Stephen Strange, really.
Yeah. I mean, he would totally.
If he was in this movie, he would have come down and just been like, "Listen,
stop.
I'm here to bargain. Stop
right.
this."
Dormammu.
You.
Here's the
metal guy.
The matchups,
you.
right?
Patriot guy. Stop.
You've got Agent 13, Sharon Carter. Apparently, I guess her matchup. Her equal is Black Widow. Black Widow wins that fight 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Falcon and War Machine. War Machine wins that fight 10 times out of 10. So that's 2 for Iron Man.
Didn't.
Yeah. No, he's paralyzed.
Yeah.
I think...
I feel like paralysis is irrelevant if he's got the suit.
I think Iron Man loses to Captain America, though.
Nah.
I mean, he does. He actually does.
Yeah, but in going all out...
They did.
He lost to Captain America and Bucky. I'm talking one-on-one.
No, because Bucky got his arm shot off, and then it's just Cap versus Iron Man.
Whatever.
But Bucky versus Black Panther, my money's on Black Panther.
My money's definitely on Black Panther.
Bucky's only got one metal arm.
His other arm is super strong, too.
Right, but but Black Panther is made of, almost entirely bulletproofness.
Right, Black Panther is as far as the terrestrial kind of just tough guys. He beats Cap and he beats Bucky.
I don't think he beats Cap.
He beats Cap. He rips Cap's shield in half. I guarantee it.
You think he's the one that does it?
No, I think he would.
Oh, okay, because him and Cap are definitely on the same team at the end of this.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hawkeye beats everybody. That's an easy one. Is Vision versus Scarlet Witch. I think Scarlet Witch
that's the real
wins.
match there. I don't.
What's the real match? Hawkeye versus everybody?
No,
Where's Ant-Man in all this? Ant-Man beats everybody.
Yeah, Ant-Man can just be gigantic.
He can also be tiny.
Oh, so we forgot Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man and Ant-Man.
Ant-Man and Spider-Man. That's a tough one.
Is it?
Well, because Spider-Man beats Ant-Man. Hey, you guys remember that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back?
And then everybody's like, what do you mean old movie?
Tony, where'd you find this kid?
Listen, everybody in this movie, you would also call Empire Strikes Back an old movie. Okay,
yeah.
It didn't happen while Cap was awake. Okay,
no,
it would have been
everything's a new movie to Cap.
Right,
everything past silent movies.
Right.
No, he was in the 40s, not the 20s. Never mind. Anything past Somewhere Over the Rainbow. What was that movie? The Wizard of Oz.
Vision, Scarlet Witch. Vision, Scarlet Witch, Agent 13. All very young.
Yeah, everybody except Tony and probably Rhodey.
Maybe Falcon and Jeremy Renner.
Probably not Falcon.
You think he's younger?
Yeah, I think he probably wasn't, I think he's younger than Tony.
I was always under the impression that Falcon and Rhodey were literally the exact same character.
Really? They're not.
I mean, I know they're not, but similar powers.
Anyway, this is not a movie. This is not going to be Iron Man 3. We're not going to sit here and fight the whole time. I really did like this movie.
I did too.
Yeah.
I think that this is going to end up pretty high on our rankings.
Yeah, I agree with that.
This is one of those ones. I saw this as a graduation week present originally, from the school.
Yeah,
it was a senior week thing, and that was when you graduated, right? No, that was when I graduated, and I loved it. I left theater and I was like, perfect.
See this for senior week?
I definitely was in a theater.
No, you saw this with me.
What was I doing?
I don't know. Maybe you saw it twice, but you definitely saw it with me.
I stood in line for a long time at Paragon in May.
Then you probably you saw something at senior week. That's definitely a thing. And the timing on this makes sense. But we definitely saw it together, and I did not go for senior week.
Oh, this would have been when Emily was graduating.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's 2016.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did see it in theaters then.
Right. But then you must have seen it twice.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Captain America.
I just know that you and I saw it together. You, me, Frank, and Katie.
Me, Frank, and Katie. What a group.
Yep.
Team Frank. Frank and Eggs.
Frank and Eggs. Anyway, yeah, this is just a great movie. It's solid. I mean, episode over. I love this movie.
I know, right? What's to say?
What do we even talk about? Some dude has a big metal arm. Cool. No, but on the subject of Bucky, Steve, get over it.
I disagree, man. I got it in this one.
I still don't get it.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it until Bucky pulls him out of the water. Then I got it.
I don't care, man. Like, he's like, I don't know. He doesn't add anything. It's an unnecessary kryptonite for Steve.
No, it gives him a weakness.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like, he needs a weakness. Otherwise, he just wins everything.
Well, that's not true.
He would lose to Vision.
He would lose to a lot of people.
Scarlet Witch.
And Thor.
I don't know.
New Thor?
Not new Thor.
He would definitely lose to new Thor.
New Thor's gonna wreck face.
Yeah. But,
one-eyed.
I lost my train of thought. Just departed the station. Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know where that went. But no, I'm still not sold on Bucky in this movie. I'm still not sold on the Winter Soldier character.
I think his fight scenes are sweet. I don't know that he's a good guy. I'm not sure I can.
I mean, I wasn't upset he was in this movie. I just I'm tired of the whole, and maybe we can finally put it to bed now. But I'm tired of the whole Steve has to get Bucky back thing.
He's got Bucky back.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure when we get to Black Panther, I'm like 90% sure they're gonna unfreeze Bucky and he's gonna be all in.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm over that plot point. It's been way too long now.
I know we're a little bit past this now, but did you notice it's still a flippy book intro?
I did. I actually noted that. My prediction was wrong.
Yeah, you were wrong.
I know.
You're wrong. I think it's in. What do we do next?
Doctor Strange?
Dottore Strange. Pretty sure it's in Dottore Strange.
I have no idea. Doctor Strange. Not Spider-Man. Spider-Man was issued. Yeah, so Doctor Strange.
Movies are weird, dude.
Yep.
I can't believe Spider-Man came out in 2017.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and...
That one I really can't believe.
Thor Ragnarok.
And Logan. But Logan's not part of MCU.
Not even close. Not even made by Marvel.
I mean, it's made by Marvel. Based on Marvel's character.
Okay, it's made based on Marvel's character. It's not made by Marvel.
Right.
But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not sold on Bucky being a good guy. I mean, I am, but like, because he is gonna be. But I'm like I said, I'm over the plot point. I'm over Tony going after Bucky. Not Tony. Steve going after Bucky. I hope that it doesn't be like, oh, we lost the Winter Soldier again. We got to go find him.
Well, Here's kind of the comic book approach in my mind to the Bucky Barnes thing, is that, like, Cap won't kill him or imprison him, so he will always have the potential to be a villain. So, like, There's always, like, a story you can write that Bucky Barnes is a villain.
I don't like that open-ended thing. It's like, settle scores with your demons. Like,
I think, like, but that's the thing is, like, they have, but his brain is turned to mush, right?
Right.
So, like, you can always put it back in a blender.
Right. And that you can always just say, longing freight train, and it'll be great. He'll go murder whoever you want. Even Howard Stark.
What kind of train were they talking about, Ethan? What was that?
I have no idea. The hype train.
I have no idea.
The hype train.
The hype train. The Santa Claus Express.
Why wasn't Pepper Potts in this movie? Did they just not want to pay her?
I guarantee that's what it was.
Yeah, because it was like there was almost a sad moment, like several almost sad moments.
I think they came out and they were like, okay, Gwyneth Paltrow, you can either be in the newest Captain America movie or you can be in Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
And she said Spider-Man.
Yeah. Or Kevin Feige was just like, hey guys, you can only have like 34 major characters in this movie.
Right.
Take your pick.
Right.
Pepper Potts.
Do you want Vision or do you want Pepper Potts?
I probably wouldn't have picked her over Vision. Like that probably would not have been the case.
We're introduced to how many new characters?
Several.
Two.
We learned
two that I can think.
Wait.
Two heroes.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Black Panther.
What do you think?
I like both of them.
I know.
I mean,
I remember not liking Black Panther as much as I do.
Oh, I thought he was cool.
He was very, very cool.
Yeah, he's pretty straightforward in this movie, and there's not like a whole lot of development for him.
He takes a pretty Tony Stark turn there at the end, where the whole movie's been chasing down the Winter Soldier, and then when he gets the guy who it actually was, is like merciful.
Right. Well, and I mean,
I am letting go of my demon. I can't do the voice.
Maybe that's the thing though. Maybe that's the Black Panther way.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. We know nothing about Wakanda. We've never even seen Wakanda.
Well, we do at the end of this movie, but yeah.
No, we don't.
Yeah, they're in Wakanda at the end of this movie.
When?
What do you mean when? That's where Winter Soldier goes under.
Oh. Well, okay. We don't see the land.
Yeah, I've seen previews of the land.
Yeah, okay, that doesn't count.
Looks like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Yeah, and they have spaceships and shit.
Yeah. Well, there are spaceships in Lord of the Rings. There's ghost ships or something, right?
There's a big difference between ghost ships and spaceships. Big difference.
You know at the Regal movie theater, the commercial that plays beforehand, and the three friends are sitting there and he's like, in space with zombies.
I'm going to clue you into the last time I went to a Regal movie. It's been a long time.
No, because you and I commented on it. Did we see Thor Ragnarok together?
No.
Whoever I saw Thor Ragnarok, it was with John. You remember John?
Yeah, I remember John. But I have not been to a Regal movie since the days of me and Hunter Wells sneaking McDonald's into the movie theater.
That's a way to do it, man.
Yeah, that man's used to bring like alcohol, drinks, candy, a whole meal. I learned so much from him.
A McChicken, McDouble.
Yeah, he just made him a gangbang right there in McDonald's. Not in McDonald's, in a Regal movie theater. Because Hunter always went to Regal because Hunter had a lot of Regal Crown points.
He did. He was all about it.
Yeah, a lot of Regal Crown points. But no,
I want to talk about each of the new characters.
Okay, talk about him.
I want to start with Spoderman.
Okay, talk about Spoderman.
I'm pretty sure when Spoderman got on screen, I cried. I was like, because I've seen Homecoming and because I've seen this movie, I love this character.
You're sold on Tom Holland as Spider-Man?
I'm so sold. I'm all in.
I'm with it. I'm about him.
Like, he got on screen and I was like, oh my god, that's Spider-Man.
Oh my god, we finally have the Spider-Man we deserve.
The one we never. Oh, he's so good. He's so good. And then he's having that conversation with Tony, and he's got the chemistry with Robert Downey Jr. immediately.
Yeah,
Robert Downey Jr.
Did you get my emails? He goes, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, and then Robert Downey Jr. is just like, you're not gonna get it. And he gets it, and then I don't care about Hot Aunt May.
I mean,
I don't care.
Okay.
I cared at first. It was like, oh, you can go a different direction with that. That's cool. I didn't think of that. But now it's happened, and I'm
just terrified for the next reboot when she's the exact same age as Peter.
Right, where it's she
just keeps getting younger. Instead of Aunt May, they're living together as boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh gosh. But it'll never be rebooted again. Tom Holland dies as Spider-Man.
You say that.
In 30 years. But they would reboot it 6 months later.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They'd be like, Jared Leto's never played Spider-Man.
They would finally give it to Donald Glover at that point.
Right. Although, sidebar, new Spider-Man movie coming out, animated, but in theaters, Spider-Verse or whatever. I just want to hear whether or not you're excited about that, or you don't even, it's not even on your radar.
Didn't even know it existed, but I'm not excited about it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not like an animated in the way most, it's not the same animation style you see for Teen Titans or Justice League or any of that. It's a really cool, artsy animation style. I don't know. It looks good. It's about a city of New York where there's a bunch of Spider-Man.
So Planet Hulk, but
Spider-Man. But Planet Spider-Man. But Hell's Kitchen Man Spider.
The human spider.
Spider-Boy. What are you, Spider-Boy?
Yeah. The Spiderling, Spider-Boy. Yeah, Spider-Man. Not with that onesie. That's what I love. It's just Tony Stark just immediately rolls up in this kid's bedroom and starts roasting him.
He does, because Spider-Man, I love that they skirt the origin story. They totally skirt it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, no, that was my favorite thing about this whole thing is, I did not need to see Uncle Ben die another time.
I don't care about the Uncle Ben thing. I didn't need to see a spider bite Peter
That's what I'm saying, is I didn't need that whole trope over again. They were just yep, okay, cool. Spider-Man is established. He has powers. It's a long story. Got it.
And they can kind of write themselves out of some corners because they were who develops this? And Spider-Man's I do. But is it part of him? Is it something he manufactures? Is it...
No, I think if it was part of him, he wouldn't need a web shooter.
Well, the web shooter's got other features though. I don't know. I hear what you're saying because in the next one he's got do you want shotgun shooter or instant kill web shooter?
Right. It's Tony makes him a better web shooter.
Yeah.
And also, it appears that he gets another suit shortly after the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, that one's going to be weird. It ends, and he's like, no, I don't need it. I'll go protect the little guy.
Yeah.
And then literally the next piece of footage we see of Spider-Man is him wearing the Iron Spider suit.
How Tony Stark is that, though? He even admits it in this movie. He's like, Pepper and I had the thing, and then we blew up all the suits, and then there was Ultron, and I made more suits, and then I didn't stop because I didn't want to.
Yeah, he's back. He's back in depressed Tony mode.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if it's depressed Tony mode necessarily. I think it's just Tony is just admitted that he has a problem.
Well, he was born to do weapons manufacturing.
Right, and there are worse things that you could be addicted to than making Iron Man suits.
I don't know that in the real world there are.
Okay, this is not the real world. Also, if you're gonna, because nobody can make an Iron Man suit, we don't have arc reactors, that whole flight technology doesn't exist. If you're a junkie, listen to me. If you're a junkie out there right now, and you have the decision to make between making Iron Man suits and drugs, go make Iron Man suits in your basement. Please, God, save your own life. That is my PSA for the day.
Don't do drugs. That's really the big thing.
Do
chlorophyll.
That's going to be our first piece of Bacon and Eggs merch. It's just a t-shirt that says, don't do drugs, do Iron Man.
Do Iron Man or make Iron Man?
We'll figure out the copy.
I just want to make sure. I got a guy ready to go.
Don't drugs. Tony Stark.
I got 100,000 shirts ready to release.
100,000!
We're going to have a lot of merch.
Good Lord Almighty.
They're all women's size medium.
Yeah, I'll take an extra medium.
Please, an extra medium.
So yeah, Spider-Man, great character. I love the lack of backstory because like we've had 5 movies, and they just kind of admitted that we have had 5 movies about this.
Right.
It's like we don't see.
Yeah, they did.
There's no Tony. He just has the new suit. There's no like break-in test period where he runs off a building and then falls on his face. There's no.
I mean, he does.
No Peter learning.
He does
to, like,
mess
climb.
with it.
Right, but it's not. There's not that scene that was in both the Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man where it's like Peter has to learn to use the web shooters and the suit, and he falls on his freaking face.
I'll tell you one thing, and you might disagree with me. I'm not happy that there have been 2 origin stories already made because I would like to see Tom Holland do it, right? But I'm not gonna get that.
You're not, and I'm okay with that though.
I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna like call up Mark Ruffalo and be like, hey, you need to talk to you're an activist. Go talk to some Marvel execs. Get me my origin story. I have a petition right here.
Get me my origin story. And maybe after this is all said and done, they'll do that. Who knows?
Maybe Mark Ruffalo would be like, you don't want to see a Hulk origin story? And I would be like, no,
not particularly.
Not at all.
How many streets are you going to sleep on, Mark Ruffalo? How many?
Right. How many? How many comic book panels will there be? Like Eric Bana had. How many?
Yo, that movie.
That movie's so bad.
So bad. So, anything else about Spoderman?
Spoderman? I love Tom Holland as a character.
You're saying he's Spider-Man. Like, his name's Phil Spider-Man.
The thing about Spoderman is, I feel like you have to say this because I feel like it's accepted. But I like Tom Holland in this character because he's young.
Yep.
Like, he looks like a high schooler. Yep. He's funny.
Yep.
Like, you're legitimately laughing. I don't know how much of it he does behind this suit, but he is like an acrobat. Like, he can do a lot of dancing and he's like strong, but he also isn't big. Like, he doesn't look like Chris Evans.
Right. They didn't put him on the Marvel diet.
Right.
Like,
you think Paul Rudd looked just as big in this movie, or do you think he kind of backed off a little bit?
Yeah, I think he looked just as big, but he was barely in this movie.
I know. Criminal.
He was never out of the suit.
Well, he was in like a different outfit.
Yeah, he had like a leather jacket on.
And he was in a prison garb.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's that. But nobody looks buff in prison garb, except like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
I'm pretty sure Drax the Destroyer looked pretty buff.
Drax didn't have a prison shirt.
he decided to forego the shirt option.
That was a whole different prison.
It really wasn't. I mean,
in space,
they say the ocean is. Scream. Which one's the final frontier? The ocean or the space?
Ocean. No, space. I retract
exactly. The fact that you have to think about it means these are pretty similar prisons.
Well, no, I mean, I meant to say space, but then my brain betrayed me. Well, my mouth betrayed what my brain wanted.
These prisons are all very similar. They're all circular. Did you notice that? Thor is in a circular prison in Ragnarok.
Yeah, well, they gotta, have them all stare at each other.
Is that why?
I guess. I don't know.
I've seen that episode of Doctor Who where they go to, New times 17 New York.
Well, I mean, I guess bad things happen when you have, lines of prison cells, just generally in movies.
That's true. Shawshank. You don't want to get Shawshank.
Right. Yeah, you just have lines of prison cells, and it ends up being a bad idea. Things happen in subsequent prison cells, and it's never a good trope. So circular prisons or whatever, but they're out of prison, so it doesn't matter.
They are out of prison.
Yeah.
They were only there for a minute.
Yeah, they weren't really suffering.
No. Tony gets there, though, and he's like, do you want some pie? And they're like, no, Tony, screw you.
Yeah, we all hate you.
Yeah, we are very upset with you.
And that's how Infinity War is going to start.
Everybody being upset with Tony?
Yeah, and then 5 minutes later, Thanos' giant ring thing is going to come up, and they'll be like, okay, put on the suit.
Put on the suit. Do you want to go a few rounds? Too bad. Put on the suit.
Yeah.
I thought Infinity War was going to start with Leia's funeral, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait for Star Wars for that one.
That's going to be Star Wars Episode 9. The time I was a very strong person.
I saw that. I always thought it was going to be Episode 9 from his sleep, because it's, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi from his sleep.
The Force needs 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Oh, man. I liked that movie. People, I'm going to put it on record. There's no record of me saying that, I don't think. I just wanted to put that out there real quick. I liked.
You liked The Force Awakens?
The Last Jedi.
The
Last Jedi.
Yeah. I keep mixing them up.
And when the internet Nickelback and Nick Cage's The Last Jedi, I will stand firm. Like Captain America is planting himself like a tree while the world tells him to move. Because Agent 13, who was that girl from across the hall, I didn't put that together at first, is also Peggy's niece.
Yes.
And that, my friend, is the way the cookie crumbles.
Yes.
Cap is so stubborn, dude.
Yeah. That's part of my problem with him, as I've mentioned several times.
Okay, but because that's what... Hey, listen, this is like Cap's whole thing. It's like, oh, boo-hoo, I was in the ice for 70 years. All my friends are gone. Except for literally your only 2 friends are here.
Yeah, but like, he doesn't even listen to anybody when they're talking about the Accords, and he's just like, he doesn't even listen.
He does listen, and he even says to Tony, he's like, you know what? We can amend this later on, right? And Tony's like, yeah, we just gotta sign this for the blah, blah, blah media press. We can amend it down the line so that it's not choking us entirely. And then he's like, got the FDR pen or whatever, and he's like, okay, cool, this is a neat little pen. I'm gonna get ready to sign. And then Tony reveals that they've locked Scarlet Witch in upstate New York with Vision.
Yeah, which, I mean, I get it, though. That's the thing, is like, I get it.
No, I wouldn't have locked her up.
Like, she is, they make a very good point in that she is not a U.S. citizen.
That's true.
Like, they don't give, he literally says they don't give visas to, like, you know, weapons or whatever. Weapons of mass destruction.
Weapons of mass destruction, yeah. They should.
He's got a point, though. They make a lot of valid points about, because this is the thing I liked about this movie, in that never before, outside of, like, never before has Marvel begged this question of, like, what about superheroes? Like, that's been, like, a strictly DC thing.
What are you talking about? J. Jonah Jameson, his whole shtick is that Spider-Man is a menace.
Okay, but nobody listened to him.
He didn't even listen to him. He put the suit on.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's that's a Superman and Chris Nolan Batman thing.
The heroes aren't necessary.
Well, no, not that the heroes aren't necessary, but the heroes aren't infallible good.
Here's my problem with this movie is that, like, Vision says, we invite a challenge or whatever, something along those lines, right? And it's like, okay, but you're never going to stop inviting that challenge. And being put under regulation isn't going to slow that down. And, like, I can see where Tony's coming from, because in his history, like, he woke up one day and was like, hey, let's go race in Monaco. And then somebody used his technology to nearly kill him.
Right.
And later on in that same movie, somebody used his technology to nearly kill him. Right. And then also Guy Pearce doesn't use his technology, but is invited to kill him because he was a jerk to him. But that's Tony's fault. That's not Cap's fault.
No, I mean, but, like, it is, though, because Cap's villains come from him, too.
Red Skull does not come from Cap.
No, but
Red Skull comes from the Tesseract.
Yes, Red Skull comes from the Tesseract. Bucky comes from Cap.
Bucky does come from Cap. I'll grant you that one.
The Winter Soldier comes from Cap. Literally, they are made of the same stuff as Captain America. The fact that he exists is the reason they exist. That could not be any more clearly what they're saying in this movie, which is that maybe we need some sort of regulation to this.
But I don't see how the regulation would stop these people from coming. Like, how would the regulation have stopped the Mandarin?
It may not have, but Crossbones was not a necessary mission for the Avengers. Like, that dude, dude blowing up an office building was not an Avengers thing.
I mean, it is if you're trying to train Scarlet Witch.
Right, but that's the thing, is, like, they went into a country they were not invited into. They went, that's a big thing. Also, it's Lagos.
Did you see my notes where I said it wasn't? I said Turks and Lagos is what it was.
What?
Like Turks and Caicos?
Caicos? Yeah, it's Lagos. I'm 95% positive of that.
Not Lagos?
I'm pretty sure it's Lagos.
It's Laos.
Not Laos. Laos is in Asia.
I don't know where Turks and Caicos is. I think it's in the Caribbean.
Turks and Caicos is in the Caribbean. Nigeria, the country they're in when this happens, is in Africa. Like Lion King.
Yeah.
Oh,
boy.
Like Lion King. But yeah, no, so that is not a necessary mission for the Avengers. They had no business being there, and I understand why the UN's mad. I understand why the Wakandans especially are mad. Because
it killed a bunch of Wakandans.
Wakandans are they keep getting crapped on by the world.
Yeah, because then, like, Ultron was like, I'm gonna go to Wakanda.
Right.
I tell you, Wakanda did a good job of hiding themselves until Ultron was like, where do they keep vibranium?
Right. There was one guy that ever made it out. And yeah, so I get it. I'm not, and again, this is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, like, they went about it the right way. And this is the same problem the X-Men faced. But, like, I don't think the restriction oversight was a bad thing. I think it just could have been handled a lot better.
Here's my problem, is they hand them the Sokovia Accords.
Right.
It is like a textbook.
Right. And no one reads it.
Not one of them reads it.
Let me introduce you to a little thing called political commentary.
Oh, I know. That was like, didn't that happen in, like, the United States this year?
Yeah, welcome to our new segment, Political Commentary with Ty and Ethan. People
so what they're saying
in America have a problem with legislators not reading legislation before they enact it. This is a direct correlation to what's happening in this movie, and you'd be laughing at me right now if you could see what I'm doing with my hands.
Do you think cops have read all the laws that they're pulling people over for?
Absolutely not.
Do you think, I mean, like, they can't, right?
No, absolutely not, because you can get, like, a ticket for so many things as secondary offenses.
Well, and, like, the other thing is, like, to be a lawyer, to defend the law and talk about the law in court, you have to, like, go to school for, I don't know, let's say 6 years.
Yeah.
Roughly. 4 years. We'll just say you can do, like, 2-year law program is normal, right?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. I was
3
thinking
years.
1. So 3-year law program and 4-year undergrad. So, like, 7 years, right?
Yeah.
To be a cop. And I'm not knocking cops. Like, whatever. Do your thing, bro. You have to, like, take a class for 2 months. And now you're responsible for getting everybody into the courtroom.
I don't want to go there at all. You're fine. Where were we? We were talking about the Sokovia Accords. Talking about the Sokovia Accords. Because I compared them to the American political system.
Yeah. So here's the thing is nobody reads them at all.
Yeah.
And here's an important detail I want you to take note of. Tony and Cap, I think, are the only two and maybe Vision that you can give credit to for reading them, because Tony is like, he may not have a superpower, but he is known for learning everything there is to know.
Right, like I'm sure Tony read them
in like a night.
Back to back. Yeah.
And Captain America is known, if you remember from the first Avenger, can like glance at a wall and then like redraw what was on it.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling he can like speed read, and Vision is literally made of pure knowledge.
You can just import the data file to Vision. He knows it.
Right.
Which is why I trust Vision when he says that it's a good idea. But then we get into the part where like Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross is a person, and he is sure as not qualified to lead this thing.
Oh God, no.
And that's the big
Neither is Martin
problem
Freeman.
Here. Yeah, that's the big problem here, is that Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross.
He was a villain.
Yeah.
He's on our villain list.
Yeah, he's still a villain. I think he had good intentions here, but like he still is just treating these people as weapons.
Yeah, he refers to them as 30 megaton nukes.
Right. And so when I think like United Nations Security Council, I don't think of like military generals necessarily.
Maybe I'm insensitive here, but it's fiction. Sokovia and New York were much larger and more notable tragedies than a bomb going off in Nigeria.
Agreed.
A bomb that could have killed many, that killed a few.
Agreed. No, absolutely agreed. But I still maintain that this is not a situation where the Avengers should have been involved.
I mean, a lot more people would have died if they weren't. The dude was getting a chemical weapon, a biological weapon that could have...
Yeah, then they should get involved.
That could have been polio.
They didn't know it, though. They didn't know it when they went in there. That's what I'm getting at. And
That's true.
And just like we see in, I guess it's Batman vs Superman, not to bring that steaming garbage pile into this, but like this is the first time we see the other side of things in the Marvel movies, like the people getting destroyed.
I thought the whole point of Sokovia was that they saved everyone.
They saved the whole world, but like humanity has a hard time looking past stuff like that.
But they saved everyone. Like, that was the thing, was like, oh, we can't let the airship leave until everyone from Sokovia gets on it. When?
He was probably on the ground.
Oh, that's what old boy says. Zemo.
Helmut Zemo.
Hamlet.
Helmut.
Yeah, I bet he's played Hamlet in a live action production.
Okay, that's a strange statement.
I don't know.
How much do you know about whatever his name is?
Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah. How much do you know off the top of your head?
He's in Inglourious Bastards. He's in Goodbye Lenin. He's in Rush.
What is Goodbye Lenin?
He's in this. I don't know. He played Alex. It was a movie that came out in 2003.
Excellent.
He's in The Alienist. That's a show that's coming out.
It's supposed to be good.
It might be all right.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, the kid was destroyed by a building dropping on him. I would imagine it's probably one that just fell over when the city flew off the ground, which is not the Avengers' fault, but it's kind of the Avengers' fault.
I mean, here's maybe where I see Tony's idea coming to fruition, is that like Tony does Iron Man 3 and he's all PTSD Tony, and then at the end of it he's like, okay, I'm not going to be that way anymore. I'm going to be happy Tony, and I'm going to save the world. And then he makes Ultron. Crap.
Yeah.
Right? But he's obsessed with this like world protection. So Ultron, like, he takes full responsibility for that, as he should.
Right.
So then the Sokovia Accords come out, and he's like, different way I can save the world without me having to do it.
Right. And I get where they're coming from, though. Is like them existing breeds similar crime.
Yes.
Like that is very much the trope in the superhero thing, is that like the amount of crime that exists only exists as far as law enforcement.
Yes.
So like there are never supervillains until there are superheroes.
Correct. Dormammu was coming anyway.
Dormammu's irrelevant. Dormammu's not even the fucking villain.
We'll get there.
Next movie.
Next week on Frank and Eggs.
Next week on Bacon and Eggs, Ty and Ethan talk about how Dormammu's not the villain.
I'm here to bargain, Ethan.
I'm not.
Dormammu.
Anyway, next week on Bacon and Eggs,
think if there's
Tyler and Ethan spend the entire episode making fun of Benedict Cumberbatch's inability to do an American accent.
Oh, it's awful.
The entire episode.
That's all we do?
I'm
for
betting
2 hours.
on it.
We're going to sit here.
I'm betting on it.
And then he says...
We're just going to quote every single line. You know, There were some... Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm going to just comment on this real quick. I think it's interesting when you go and you look at the IMDb page. If you just look down at the headshots, like the super actors don't have to have like a high quality headshot. It's just like a paparazzi picture from an event. But then like Sebastian Stan like paid for somebody to take that picture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe Elizabeth Olsen, and I think those are like, and maybe Daniel Bruhl, Tom Holland maybe. Are like the only ones.
Jeremy Renner.
Paul Rudd has a proper headshot.
They also don't...
Good one,
They also
too.
don't pick which photo gets used for their IMDb cover photo.
They write their bios.
Okay.
I think they get to use the picture too. I think they get to choose
They change
picture.
all the time though.
Do they? I think if you're Sebastian Stan and you email IMDb and say, "Hey, this is the picture I want you to use," they're not going to be like.
But like I don't know how much Sebastian Stan sits around thinking about IMDb.
He's trying to get jobs, man. Up until this, he was probably somebody. Nope, he was nobody.
Yeah, that's fine. He's probably made enough money to live for the rest of his life off these movies.
Yeah. Well, he was in Black Swan before the first Avenger.
Yes.
And he was Carter in Gossip Girl.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, right.
You have. I know you have. You've seen every single episode.
I don't know about every single episode, but I've
close.
seen enough to know.
There's some. Speaking of, I just like we talked about quoting entire lines of movies. There's a couple great quotes in this movie. I just want to bring light to one that made me absolutely crack up.
Okay.
When Ant-Man is inside Tony Stark's suit, and Tony goes, "Who is even speaking?" And Ant-Man goes, "It's your conscience. We don't talk a lot these days."
Well, I mean, he's not wrong.
I think Tony talks to his conscience more than anybody alive.
That's true. He's got that scene where he's giving out the MIT award, and the lady's like, "I work for the State Department." Not very exciting, is it? And I was like, actually, I'm kind of interested in how you.
You know, they say there's a correlation
acquired
between
that
generosity and guilt.
Well, anyway, she hands him a sheet of picture. This is my son.
Yeah.
He died.
Yeah. I thought she was about to attack him.
I thought so too. He was like occupational hazard, and I was like, yeah, I would have been scared too, bub.
Yeah. I thought she was about to attack him. Like,
I mean, what if she did? Just pulled out a gun and straight up shot Tony Stark right then and there.
Not that kind of movie.
It's not that kind of movie,
No,
bro.
it's not. No, it's not.
When is he gonna get to be a hero?
Who, Taron Egerton?
Yeah.
Probably not that long.
You bet you're right.
Yeah, he'll be in one of these things. Either a hero or a
could've
villain
been
or
like
something.
yeah.
Hey, Alexa, mind your business. Sorry, Alexa's trying to butt into our conversation.
She always is. That's why Alexa's not in my office.
I don't have an office.
Alexa is in my bedroom.
I have a bedroom, and that's where Alexa is. So, Bucky is like what? Like a werewolf in this movie? Like when he doesn't remember what happens while he's, soldats.
Right, when he's the Winter
Yeah,
Soldier.
he wakes up and he's like, I don't know what happened. What did I do? So I thought that was kind of interesting that he just has no memory whatsoever. Because they've never really led you to believe that beforehand.
Well, even later in the movie, Tony asks, "Do you remember my parents?" And he says, "I remember all of them."
Yeah, and that was surprising.
Yeah, I was like, why would you say that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Even if that's true.
I don't know.
Like, you've held this charade for a while. Why not just... Nope, sorry, they had me brainwashed.
So, what was Howard Stark doing with the super soldier formula in the back of his trunk?
Is that what he had? The super soldier formula?
Yeah, because they show the scene where Bucky crashes the car and opens the trunk and takes the blue things, the IV bags.
The blood.
And then the next scene, they're cut to them being injected into the strike team.
The super soldier serum.
Yeah. What was he doing with that? I guess he was taking it to the Pentagon, but was he turning it over? That doesn't seem right.
The Pentagon? I mean, that would have been... Howard Stark was not as anti-government as Antonio.
No,
Stark.
but it still doesn't seem right that he would just be turning that over just on some random night.
Well, he was on his way to the Bahamas, right?
Yeah, from Queens.
What a weird set of places.
So they're driving to the Pentagon? I guess they...
Oh, he maybe. So Cap is still on ice at this point.
Yeah, in the 90s, Cap is still on ice.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he's in Queens because he wakes up in Manhattan, but no, he's still on ice.
Well, Howard's in Queens because it's implied that's where they live.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I thought was strange. I didn't think of Tony as a New York kind of guy.
His name's...
I know he lives there now.
Antonio.
Anthony. His name is Anthony.
Whatever.
Obadiah says it.
Yeah, no. Obadiah doesn't say it. Justin Hammer says it.
Yeah, he does.
Over and over again. But still, it's like, that's, I don't know. Anthony's song, Moving Out, Billy Joel, New York. Who needs a house out in Hackensack?
You ought to know by now. What is your favorite Billy Joel song right now? Number 3 of all time, Ethan.
Moving Out, Anthony's song.
Oh, wow. You just had that one ready to go.
It's the one we were just talking about. Also, I heard a really good Panic at the Disco cover of that song recently.
Was it on the live album? We saw that. Right?
No, we didn't.
It was the same show.
No, it wasn't.
It's got Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes, it does, but they did not play. It was from their headliner tour.
Is that a different tour?
Yeah, it's like the Death of the Batch tour.
If you were... Okay, this bachelor died recently. I'm now not a bachelor. Ethan, what are you listening to now? Not obviously this minute, but what album are you excited about? We're going to veer real quick to Bacon and Eggs music review.
Excited about? What have I been listening to recently?
Yeah, if you had to give a recommendation.
I've been on a Day to Remember kick, actually.
I've been on a 4-year strong
I
kick.
could tell. You were talking earlier about not Enemy of the World. Explains it all.
Yeah. I was. I also. So what a Day to Remember album do you recommend to the world?
Go listen to.
It's the month of. No, we're gonna not do that. I've changed my mind. Okay. So what's January, Ethan?
January is, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? It's the first month of the year.
Yeah, but what are you asking?
What do people do in January?
They make their New Year's resolution.
What is everyone's New Year's resolution?
Lose weight.
Go to the gym and lose weight. So, what is your go-to album at the gym?
What You Don't See by The Story So Far.
I've never heard.
You should go listen to it.
Oh my gosh, maybe I will. I'm not gonna do it now. But
what is yours?
Feed the Animals by Girl Talk.
I've never heard of that either.
You will not like it.
Okay.
But you, listener, will like it a lot more than you, Ethan, will.
Why am I not gonna like it?
Because I'm not gonna spoil it, but it'll be immediately apparent.
All right, I'll go listen to it. But no, I don't know. It just gets me hype. The Story So Far gets me hype, and
it gets me working out on a treadmill.
Yes, just like I don't know. It just goes the whole time. Like every song pretty much sounds the same, and
they slap.
Yeah, they all slap.
All right, back to Marvel. Ethan.
Yeah.
There's so many great characters in this movie, and our lack of organization has allowed us to not just go through all the characters in the movie.
Well, we don't need to go through the characters in the movie every time they come up.
That's true. Where are we in the story?
We've not really talked about the story at all whatsoever. We've jumped all over the place, which is fine.
Okay, we passed the Sokovia Accords, though.
Okay. Can we talk about why the Russian colonel lives in Cleveland, of all places?
Why does he live? Oh, man. There's a note somewhere in here that was like, you mean to tell me the key to defeating Captain America is in Cleveland?
Yeah, and some German guy shows up at your door in Cleveland, and you're not a little bit more suspicious?
He's extremely suspicious. He
doesn't grab the gun. He leaves it sitting there.
Because the guy's like, I jumped the curb.
Ran into your car.
Whoops.
I'd be hiding. I would not open the door. 0% chance of opening the door. I'd run out the back door.
I mean, this dude's very clearly paranoid. He's got like boards all over the doors and stuff, or the windows, or those just really crappy blinds.
Some dude who doesn't sound like he's from Cleveland comes up to you, run.
I mean, plus, like, what's a car, you know?
Seriously. And this guy gets like waterboarded in his own house.
And like murdered.
Yeah, drowned.
I'm not gonna lie to you, this villain, man, he's straight up evil.
Helmut Zemo? What exactly does he want?
He wants the Avengers to kill each other.
Is that what he wants? To what end?
He wants to see an empire fall.
Because he's not Hydra.
No, he's not Hydra, but if he can, I think he's ex-Hydra or something.
No.
But if he can, so he knows that...
If he was ex-Hydra, he would know where the base is.
That's true. So he knows that he can't defeat the Avengers. Because, like, Vision, right?
Right. So he wants the Avengers to do it themselves.
Right. So he wants the two leaders to duke it out.
Right.
And maybe some casualties along the way. And really the only one he gets halfway is War Machine, who, in, like, the grand scheme of things, is pretty forgettable.
Yeah, he gets paralyzed, which I maintain. You got the suit, you'll be fine.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you need to walk for?
Yeah.
You can fly.
Yeah.
Tony
Stank can figure it out for you.
Also, I'll explain more on Zemo real quick, but why is War Machine still using Justin Hammer's weapons?
Why not?
Because Tony Stark makes entirely, but even like in the movie where War Machine becomes a thing, Tony Stark proves that like his weapons are better, and he fires the little like the mother load or whatever, the payload.
Yeah.
I hate when they call like a large group of like a bomb a payload. I know that's just like, oh, it's the jargon thing. I think it's stupid. There needs to be a new name for it.
Okay. Tell bomb makers. Call up Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin. And
I'm going to call my local arms dealers, and I'm going to explain to them, hey, when you got a bunch of bombs in a plane, that's not a payload.
I mean, it is. That's the term they've been using since there were bombs.
I know, but does it not feel weird to you? Isn't a payload also just like when people refer to like an amount of mail as a payload, are they saying that as like because that's what we call bombs? Or when they're talking about a bunch of bombs as a payload, are they saying that because that's what we call a bunch of mail?
Who calls a bunch of mail a payload?
I don't know.
A payload is the thing you transport.
Yeah, you transport mail.
Okay. You also transport a lot of other things that aren't mail, which is where this term comes from.
Everything you transport is mail in some way or another.
It's from shipping.
Yeah, you're delivering one thing to somewhere else.
Okay, but it's not mail. You're thinking about this the wrong
mail
way.
is
I've
awesome.
never heard anybody call mail a payload in my entire life. Not one single time until today.
I don't know. Maybe that's like one of those things where, like, you know how some words mean something to you? Like, I had the hardest time growing up between sturdy and steady. Sturdy to me meant shaky.
But it doesn't.
Correct.
Sturdy and steady pretty much mean the same thing.
Right, but I only wanted steady.
So a payload is that's what like truckers refer to what is in their truck.
Exactly. Now, are they saying that because that's also how we refer to bombs? Or are we referring to bombs that way because that's what truckers call?
We're referring to bombs that way because that's what it's called in shipping. It's the load. of stuff that you're getting paid on.
Right, but I just think that's such like a silly thing where they're like, hey, these bombs are going to literally kill hundreds of people. Let's make a shipping joke about them.
I mean, that's the military for you.
We're going to deliver them. Haha. You know, you're going to drop them and ruin lives.
We called the atomic bombs that we dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki Fat Man and Little Boy.
I know.
Clearly, the U.S. government has always been one for making a joke.
Clearly. That was Thunderbolt's idea.
Yeah, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross came up with the Manhattan Project.
You know who probably could beat Vision?
Werner Heisenberg.
Is that
No,
Dr. Manhattan?
Werner von Braun. Whatever the guys are. Whoever invented the atomic bomb. Those guys.
No, they couldn't beat Vision. He would just like, oh, there's a bomb. Mind Stone.
Yeah, well, Doctor Strange can beat Vision.
Doctor Strange can do anything. But he also has an Infinity Stone.
He does?
So that's why. Yes, he has the Time Stone.
I'll tell you how much I remember of that movie.
Clearly not much, since you don't know who's here to bargain. Dormammu, I'm here to bargain.
Oh my god, stop saying that.
You're going to hear it a lot over the next week.
Yeah, I know. I'm not excited.
In fact, if you're wondering why... Oh gosh, this is going to be hard to explain.
What?
Every single day, our Twitter account is going to tweet the phrase, Dormammu, I'm here to bargain, leading up to Doctor Strange's release.
So from this day forward?
Which this day?
The day we're right now, this minute.
Maybe.
Or are you referring to the 11th of January?
I think I'm referring to the 11th of January.
Okay. So like not the 2nd of January when we're recording this.
Correct.
So for 1 week, we're going to say, Dormammu, I'm here to bargain.
Yep. We might throw a GIF in there, too.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Maybe a bunch of different GIFs from a similar trope.
Okay. I can get behind that.
I'm already about it. I would say I'm going ahead and Googling them.
I can get behind that.
Are you just doing that
thing?
Okay.
I can get behind that.
You're doing the thing. Yes.
Yes.
It's from Rick and Morty.
What?
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, like, what's Morty's dad's name? Jerry. Jerry's in, like, a simulation, and his boss, the only thing he can say is, like, he snaps his finger, gives him a little finger gun, and says yes. And, like, Jerry just keeps asking him questions.
I do that all the time.
Like, gets himself fired. I do that on the phone all the time. I'll be on texting you while my customer is talking to me. And I'll just be like, yeah, we can do that.
So, you know what I love in this movie? The constant, like, old married couple fighting over Steve that Sam and Bucky do. And, like, they don't like each other.
Oh, I know. Hysterical. It's so funny.
Like, they're in the car, and Bucky's sitting in the backseat of the freaking Volkswagen, just like, can you move your seat up at all? Sam just sits there, no.
Nope. I think it's hilarious. They do it the whole time.
Why couldn't you do that earlier? I hate you.
I think it's so funny that they don't like each other because they're competing for Steve's affection. Yeah. And like, who do you think knows that the other is the guy?
Oh, Bucky's the guy.
Yeah, okay.
I think Steve Rogers would shoot Sam Wilson in the face to save Bucky.
Steve Rogers does shoot some people in the face, not in this movie.
I'm pretty sure that Steve Rogers, if given the choice, he would shoot Sam Wilson in the face to save Bucky.
It was a blank.
Okay. I mean,
that was a reference.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
I did.
Because Sam's his puppy.
Yeah, I know. I got it.
It's a bulldog pug.
Yeah, no, he's totally wrong. How do you, I lost it. Oh, you know what I loved? Speaking of Sam Wilson the Falcon, is that when he first meets Ant-Man, and he does the thing, he's like, that was a good audition, but it's never gonna happen again.
It's never gonna happen
again. Talking about the fight they had, when he got his ass whipped.
I think it would happen again. I think Ant-Man always beats Falcon.
Yeah, definitely. Ant-Man's pretty strong character.
Falcon's a sidekick.
Yeah, he is absolutely, well, he's, eventually gonna be Captain America? Isn't that a thing?
I think, yeah. Well, I don't think. I know. Yeah, that happened. But he doesn't become, like, super soldier Captain America. He becomes, like, Captain America in Falcon's costume.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah, so he dons the suit and becomes, like, the leader of the event. He's like a promotion.
Okay. Well,
like,
I have no idea. Maybe he does get super soldiered. Literally, they just got that serum lying around.
I know. They're able to just give it to all sorts of people. Why do you think Zemo kills the super soldiers?
Because he didn't need them. They were a ploy to get Bucky there.
Okay, but why kill him?
Because, I don't know. Because he won.
Why not just like...
Because they're a threat to him?
What do they say? Let mad dogs lie?
Let sleeping dogs lie?
Yeah, that's the one.
Probably.
Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
It's leave!
You sound like an idiot.
But yeah, no, they were a threat to him, so why would he wake them up? That's just a bunch more people he can't control as well as he probably needs to.
Oh, I definitely get why he wouldn't wake them up. I don't get why he'd kill them.
So that Bucky can't wake them up.
I don't think Bucky would.
But he could.
I think Bucky would kill them.
I mean, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know. Why is this a problem?
I just thought it was a weird
decision. It just didn't even occur to me. Like, they're useless. They played no part, so they die.
They're bait.
They die so that nobody can come back later and resurrect them.
That's true. They were like, you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and tie this.
Yeah, we're gonna tie this one up, so nobody's sitting there stressing over it for 5 years.
Right. Well, they did leave those guys alive.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, but like, I don't know where I was going with that. You good?
Yeah,
Okay.
you good? You sound like you're like shivering.
No, I'm good. I'm not shivering. So what have we missed so far? What have we not? I'm reading through my notes real quick. See if there's points you missed. Since we're just jumping all over the place.
Tony's too rich.
That he can just give away like millions of dollars.
Every project at MIT gets funded.
Yeah, he just got the money. She even says that. She's like, if you got the money, you might as well give it away.
Breaks the eggs.
Break as many eggs as you want. But yeah, he's got a lot of money. Just unlimited amounts.
What do you think of Big Ant-Man?
I like Big Ant-Man. It's cool.
You think they're going to do that again?
Maybe. If they need to. They've made it so that he can figure out how to work it if they need it. He doesn't die this time.
He says, like Hank Pym always said, never trust a Stark.
Right.
He gets a little snarky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's, he kind of flies in the last minute and then gets locked up just for, like, helping.
It's true. And if anybody doesn't want to be locked up,
Scott Lang.
it's Ant-Man, who, like, hates prison.
Yeah, Scott Lang. So he's, Hank Pym always said, never trust a Stark. Which, I mean, he's right. Tony gets him locked up, for sure. He was, like, a last-minute ringer, and then he's just sitting there going, why did I join this crap?
I don't know what think tank put together the name Wakanda for a country, or if it was just somebody's idea, but it sounds so satisfying.
Yeah. No, it's a great name.
And like King T'Challa.
I like that less.
I like it a lot, but I like it less.
Yeah, I don't like T'Challa.
What do you think of the accent of the Wakandans?
They sound African.
Yeah, well, yes, they are from Africa.
Like, I don't think really anything of it.
Oh, I just think that the Black Panther's voice is cool.
It is cool. He's a cool actor. I'm hoping it's a cool movie.
Oh, yeah, me too. Just quick Black Panther news, since we're going to be doing that week to week leading up to the Black Panther. The movie has been cut to 2 hours and 15 minutes.
There you go.
Yeah. So I don't know if we talked about it on here, but it was at 4 hours or so, which is a normal thing that happens a lot. Force Awakens was like 3.5 hours before it was, or not Force Awakens, Last Jedi. So, like, it's totally a normal thing.
Yeah, but no, everybody got super upset.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, I have a criticism.
Okay.
I have a criticism for this movie, Ethan. It's in a lot of places.
What do you mean?
Like, it's in a lot of places. Like, it goes all over the planet.
Yeah, it does have a lot of locations. They're in, the 90s, which is a place. They're in, they're in Nigeria. They're in the middle of the ocean. They're in Siberia. And,
they're in Wakanda.
Upstate New York.
They're in Manhattan at some point?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where, Queens.
What are they in Queens?
That's where Tom Holland is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So they're all over the place. They do a lot of locations.
I don't know, it just felt like a lot of places. I don't think there's a way to have done it without this, but like the fight scene happens in like Leipzig.
Yeah, Leipzig, Germany.
Why?
Because that's, I guess,
where the Quinjet is.
Yeah, I don't know how they got to Germany, the airport in Germany. But
they ask like, why isn't Thor? Well, they don't ask about Thor like at all, which I thought was weird. I was like, if they ask about Thor briefly, but Thor, I feel like they could have asked more about. Like, it seems like it would be easier to get Thor here than it would be to get the Hulk, since nobody knows where the Hulk is.
Right.
And Thor is like summonable.
Yeah, but they probably did summon him. He probably didn't come.
Well, I've seen actually what he was doing. He was like working a day job in Manhattan, right?
Oh, in Team Thor.
Yeah.
We should I'll post those videos in the description.
The mightiest Avenger.
No, what he was actually doing was hunting down Infinity Stones.
He found none.
Spent 2 years hunting down Infinity Stone things. Didn't find any.
I love that movie.
Okay. What else we got here? I know there's tons of stuff we're missing. This is a very in-depth movie. So how do you feel about the fight scenes in this movie?
I think they're really well done. I mean, they played everybody's strengths.
This is another kind of one of those movies that feels like it wouldn't end, to me.
It definitely wouldn't. And I feel like, but it did a good job with the fight scenes of like Barton will always lose to Vision. Right. So they did a good job of getting like Scarlet Witch to realize that and like distract Vision, and those two kind of do their own thing.
Well,
where it's like, okay, if I don't stop you, you can murder everyone.
I just found it super interesting that big, like, everybody fights each other scene wasn't, like, the climactic fight scene.
I almost think it's weird that it happened at all.
Yeah, like
this was definitely a Frozen Anna Elsa moment where if Elsa was just like, hey, I have ice powers, it's a big deal. It's gonna affect everything from now on, just so you're aware. Like, this whole plot would have not happened. Where if like Tony would have just heard, hey, it wasn't Bucky. It was somebody else who has super soldiers he's ready to unleash on the world. I mean, we need to go stop them.
Cat didn't really try to tell him either.
He brings it up and then...
Not really. He's kind of just mad, as always.
No, he brings it up. I think you're missing something here. I do think you're missing something here because he says it wasn't Bucky, and then Iron Man says something like, you're not, like, you can't be trusted, you're not impartial, like...
Which he's right.
Oh, I agree he's right. I wouldn't have trusted him either. But I think this movie rotates on a crux that, like, some prosthetics were convincing enough that Bucky gets condemned when the facial recognition software is insane.
Right. No, I agree with that.
In this world.
And I think that a lot of things could have been worked out if Cap and Tony both just put their differences aside and sat down for a second.
But the problem is they can't put their differences aside because what they need to sit down and do is talk, and Thunderbolt wouldn't have let them do that. Because it's not their job.
It's not beneficial to Thunderbolt. Who is the real villain here?
One thing I will also...
We're back to the U.S. government being the villain.
One thing I will also say is that, like, when Cap was working for S.H.I.E.L.D., was this not the setup? That there was oversight?
It was.
And, like, I guess that's why he's
had
against
a problem
the oversight.
With it then, too.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, even when they go to Nigeria, is he not doing, like, a mission for somebody?
No, at that point he's not. He's
just independently
the
going
Avengers.
in?
He's doing a mission for the Avengers.
Yeah, who were governed by...
him.
Oh, yeah, I guess
because Tony stepped down. It was him and Tony, and then Tony stepped down.
And then Tony gets all depressed again.
I still don't see that.
You don't see that?
No.
Tony's first scene is, like, explaining that his dad never loved him.
Right, well...
And he, like, does it just to prove the point that, like, this project should have never been funded. It is absurd. Right. But I just wanted to show everybody my dad never loved me.
I mean, true, but it seems like he's... moved on from it.
You think he has moved on from it? I don't think he has. What do you think of the theory? Have we talked about this theory?
What theory? That Tony's a Skrull? Yes, we've talked about that.
No, we definitely talked about that. I would posit that theory in this movie. But honestly, I might be wrong about that one. Have you heard that the theory is that Tony creates an Infinity Stone when he makes the new element?
I have not.
And that's why Loki's scepter doesn't work on him?
I can see that.
That's why Loki's scepter doesn't work. And, you know, that's how he's able to go, like, blow off a vibranium arm.
Right.
I guess it's not vibranium, or whatever it is.
I feel like it's vibranium.
But that's why he has, like, the Infinity Stone visions that, like, affect him much worse than anybody else that Scarlet Witch gives them.
That.
And you know, kind of like with great power comes great responsibility, but, like, he can't realize it because he doesn't know what he's done.
Well, they do say that four have been awakened.
The Ether, Mind Stone, the Time Stone.
The Time Stone hadn't been awakened, though.
Oh.
Because Doctor Strange still hasn't happened yet.
I think Doctor Strange has happened at this point.
I mean, it probably has, but it hadn't happened several movies ago.
Correct.
Because Guardians takes place in what? Like...
Oh, that's the fourth one then. I mean, you can just say the Ether, the Mind Stone, the, what is it, Power Gem, Power Stone?
I have no idea.
Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, I don't know what that one is.
And the Tesseract.
Oh, yeah, the Tesseract. Fuck, I forgot the Tesseract.
Yeah, it's like a big deal. Like, most of the movies are about that.
No, but then Tony can't have created a new element, or new... Infinity Stone.
He can. The Infinity Gauntlet wouldn't require it.
What?
Like, nobody would know that he has created it.
I was treating them as a limited resource.
They were a limited resource. This is an element that had never been created.
Okay. I can see it. I mean, who knows? We'll find out in, like
he shouldn't have been able to
months.
do this. But that's why the Loki scepter doesn't work and why everything affects him worse.
It definitely makes sense.
And why his suit never needs to be recharged.
Or maybe it's because he's a Skrull.
Maybe.
So where does that theory fit into this movie?
Oh, because Tony's not acting like how Tony would act. It doesn't make any sense.
I think Tony's acting out like Tony would act. More so than in recent movies.
No, Tony Stark would never side with the government.
Sure he would.
No, he wouldn't. He would flick the government off like he does in Iron Man 2.
I mean, he seems to have been pretty busted up by some of the recent events.
Yeah, but he wouldn't turn to siding with the government. He was an arms dealer and the government was double dealing.
I mean, were they?
No. Tony Stark would not agree to this.
We'll see.
He would say, I am Iron Man. You can't have it. I've privatized world peace. I've privatized world peace. Tony Stark is not acting like himself at all.
So when
Tony Stark would say, no, government.
Tony Stark wrote these accords in a cave with a box of pens.
Box of FDR's pens?
So when is it that you think Tony becomes a Skrull? I can't remember.
At the end of Iron Man 3, when he gives it up.
Why? What makes you think? Why are you so stuck on him giving it up?
Because he gives it up.
And then he comes back. He admits it in this movie.
Because Tony gives it up. Exactly. It's exactly what somebody who's impersonating Tony Stark would say.
You could say that about anything.
Tony Stark has been the villain for like the past 5 films, and he's about to be the villain in Spider-Man.
He is not the villain in Spider-Man.
He is one of the villains. He gives a 15-year-old a suit that has an instant kill feature.
Yeah, it was deactivated.
Yeah, but it's still there, so that when Tony comes back, or not when Tony, but when the person controlling the man who would be Tony Stark decides he wants to turn on the world, he's got the world's greatest mercenary in a Spider-Man. I don't understand how you don't see this or why you're fighting me on it. I think you should be excited
Why should I be excited about this?
Because it's a great story arc.
Okay, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I just don't think that what you're saying about how it happens is like possible. They're not going to create something like that off screen in between movies. He comes back.
No, he doesn't come back.
Yes, he does. He's back in Age of Ultron.
Yeah. To create Ultron.
He already had suits by then. He clearly could not stop making suits. You're hung up on clean slate.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean he's giving it up forever. Why do you erase a chalkboard?
You can start anew.
Yes, so you can write more stuff.
Because he's in a cave. How poetic. Tony Stark becomes Tony Stark because he gets locked in a cave. With
I think that there's definitely some credence to this theory you have, but I think that you're approaching the whole point that it happened the wrong time, the wrong way.
When do you think it would have happened then?
I think you could make a lot more solid arguments for a lot of other things. Like maybe he was in one of those suits when they blew up.
I can work with that.
That's a much more solid argument than just like, oh, because he said he clean slate, he's automatically, there's no chance that there's an overlap there.
I don't know. I think what we see in the first 2 movies of Iron Man is that Tony Stark is capturable and other people can master his technology.
I would agree with that, and I'm not disagreeing with that. But the thing you're hanging your hat on to me doesn't make any sense. Like clean slate leaves an open end. That is all it is.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't think that because we're still in the middle of this series, I don't think that they'll ever give me what I want, and that Tony is not who Tony says he is.
Yeah, you want an answer?
Right, like, the answer they're going to give me is that Tony is who Tony says he is.
Or he's just going to die.
Which is, likely what's going to happen in Infinity War.
Part 2.
Part 2. Deux.
No, I agree with that he's probably going to die, and we'll probably never get an answer to this, and we'll be sad. But I agree that your theory has some credence. I don't think that where you're hanging it on makes sense to me, but that's fine. Anything we're missing out of this movie?
I don't know. Are we at the end?
20 minutes out. I'm just kind of asking, like, what are we missing here?
You know what Zemo eats for breakfast?
No idea.
Bacon and black coffee.
Is that? Oh yeah. Yeah.
He keeps ordering it for breakfast. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, bacon and black coffee sounds very similar to something I eat for breakfast very often. What do I eat for breakfast, Ethan?
Bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs. Bacon and eggs.
I don't really eat breakfast. I know that's off-brand, but I rarely eat breakfast.
I eat eggs for breakfast all the time. I don't like scramble or hard boil or anything. We buy pre-hard boiled, de-shelled eggs, and I eat them for breakfast.
Interesting. I don't really like eggs that much.
I like hard boiled eggs.
I really don't like hard boiled eggs.
Put a little salt on them.
Nope. Gross.
You're missing out.
I like omelets.
Oh, you know what we haven't talked about? Greatest character in the history of the Marvel Universe, Ethan.
Who am I
talking about?
Hawkeye.
The man, the myth, comes back, defeats Vision.
Yeah, he's got a lot of great things in this movie. He's got some great quotes that I can't remember off the top of my head now, but he really lays into Tony.
Oh, yeah. He has that whole, little monologue where he's like, listen. It's almost like he's the dad this group needs. And it's like when
I retire for 5 minutes and everything goes to shit.
Right. It's like when, you are, like when while we're doing this and then somebody who's much older than us gives us some piece of insight that we could have never thought because we're just too deep into it. That's Hawkeye's character.
Absolutely.
He's a very much respect your elders kind of guy. But there's a lot of good bow scenes in this movie. A lot of good. He fights Black Panther.
Yeah, he does. They have a great fight. And
Black Panther is not on a side. Just
he's
in case
pulling punches off Natasha, and she just goes, "Are we still friends?" And he says, "That depends on how hard you hit me."
I thought that was weird that they would even fight.
I guess it's gotta, they gotta.
No, but they don't. Those two don't. They could have had them on screen run up to each other and be like, "I can't do this."
I mean, maybe.
And then had Spider-Man shoot a web at Hawkeye and Ant-Man flip Scarlett Johansson.
Was busy.
He got to fight.
Yeah, he was chasing down Bucky and Sam.
He fights Cap at one point.
He's a strong character. Spider-Man's gonna be hard to beat.
I got a feeling Thanos is just gonna punch him in the face.
Maybe.
And it's gonna be bad news for
Hawkeye's also the one that kind of decides that they have to sacrifice themselves to get Cap out of there.
Because Hawkeye's
the
king.
He's a strong character.
Give myself a little Hawkeye pop figure.
You could do that. I think they make those.
I'm certain they do. They make I just googled certain.
I do that all the time.
They even make a Hawkeye pop figure from Civil War.
Nice.
And an Age of Ultron one.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, I mean, this movie is not as much about Hawkeye as Age of Ultron was. And I am still waiting for my standalone Hawkeye movie.
Let me tell you what Jeremy Renner's not going to get.
A Hawkeye movie?
Standalone Hawkeye
make me sad.
movie.
He'll probably die.
I'm actively sad. Yeah, if they're looking for one to kill off.
Yeah, it should be Natasha.
That won't.
I know.
Black Widow's a huge deal. She's a double agent.
She's blonde now.
She was blonde-ish. She wasn't as red-haired in this movie.
Yeah, but she's in the next one, she's blonde.
Yeah, platinum. So Ethan, what did you? I think we're
none of that monologue that Hawkeye has made it into the IMDb quotes, which makes me sad.
That's because they don't care. People don't realize the value
Clint Barton
of the human hawk.
Clint Barton.
He's the man. Ethan, Wait, do you have any final thoughts on this film before we get to our ratings?
Oh, there is one shining moment for Bucky Barnes.
There's a lot of shining moments for Bucky Barnes. I love Bucky Barnes.
But he realizes toward the end that, like, he even says this to Steve, is like, I'm not worth it.
Oh, yeah, he does. Steve's like he tells Steve, you're trying too hard to save me.
Let me go, bro.
But Steve can't handle it.
Steve can't handle it because he's weak.
That just reassures him more. One thing we didn't really talk about is the final fight scene between Bucky, Steve, and Tony. I thought it was kind of Martha-ish at the end, Batman vs. Superman, where it's like, that's the reason. But
I'll tell you why I didn't talk about the fight scene is because I fell asleep for most of it.
Oh, that's kind of...
Really? It was very sad. It's like I kept waking up and being like, this is happening, but I don't have time to go back.
I comments on it are that like they fight and that's it. It's like Cap wins. Tony was wrong, but not for all the same reasons. And then there's like a pre-credits, post-credits roll where Cap is like, hey, you need to everything's cool now, buddy. Yeah. I'm in Wakanda. Here's a cell phone.
Yep. He gets a nickname from Tony at one point.
What's his
Manchurian
name?
Candidate.
What does that mean?
It's two movies that it's an original and a remake about a soldier that gets brainwashed so that when they say certain things to him, he like hulks out.
Oh, I've heard of that.
One of them had Frank Sinatra, and the other one had Denzel Washington.
It's hard to choose which one of those men is the greater man.
They're both very good movies, but yeah, I thought that was.
I've never seen
funny.
either of them.
Nice little referential nickname.
Boom. So anyway, ratings. Ethan, what do we do first?
Breakfast food? We do villain rating.
Villain rating.
So
I like
Helmut Zemo.
Helmut Zemo. He really gets in your mind, dude. I feel like he's really well thought out. He doesn't, honestly, I don't think he gets enough like camera time.
Yeah, he's only really sort of in the movie.
Yeah, like the movie kind of happens around him.
So I still don't really know where we put all the villains because I never.
No, they just kind of happen. But I'd put him in like top 30.
Yeah, I would say like up with like Loki.
I guess that's the 80th percentile.
Loki and Ultron and
he's good.
He's solid.
He's real good.
So I can agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. Now the movie.
Okay, let me look up where we got everything right now.
I like this movie a lot, Ethan.
I do too. Give me 1 second to open Podbean.
Do you want to do this from the bottom or the top?
Give me 1 second, bro.
Okay. I'm just asking you questions while I give you this.
Okay, but like I can't. I'm not running on enough brain power to like talk and search right now. So okay. So our current rankings, and I'm just gonna give Marvel movies because we've got some other stuff in here.
And one of them is not ranked yet because we're recording this before that.
Right. Correct. Okay. So from the bottom up, we've got the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor the Dark World, Thor, Iron Man 3, Ant-Man, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Captain America the First Avengers, The Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Iron Man. I'm gonna say my pick for where I'd put it.
I'm holding it up. You can't see it, obviously.
Okay. How many fingers do you think I'm holding up, Tyler? What place do you think it goes in?
I think you're only holding up one hand.
I'm definitely only holding up one hand. How many fingers do you think I'm holding up, Tyler?
I think you have three fingers up. I have
2 fingers up.
I have 2 fingers up.
Sold. I think it's a little bit better than Guardians.
I do too. And that's a tough call. Because, listen, here's the problem I get in my mind with this, is that I always watch these movies and I'm like, I don't want to just pick the like most epic movie as the best movie because it's got the biggest scenes and all that stuff. But like in this
superhero
case,
movie.
It's not just... right. Like the fact that it's that epic makes a big difference.
Yeah.
The villain is good. The characters are good. Like everybody acts sort of in accordance, at least consistent with themselves within this movie. You know?
I would agree with that. I'm gonna say second place. I think it's a little bit more. It's a very complete movie.
You don't think it's better than Iron Man though?
No, not yet.
Do you think there's one that
Maybe.
is? I think you think Spider-Man is.
Maybe. I'm not gonna reveal which one I think is better than Iron Man.
Of the ones coming up, I think that's the one you're gonna pick.
You say that. I think that I'm putting this as 2, but I'm predicting it's not gonna stay there.
So you think something will?
I think something will at least best this. At least I'm gonna make a preliminary case. Well, not a preliminary. I'm gonna eventually, when we get there, make a case for something to best this.
I will say this: that does make it the 4th best movie we've ever rated, which is mostly because we haven't rated that many movies outside of the MCU. Yeah. But that seems high.
I mean, yeah, but like we gotta rank it in Marvel, and like it's just
right.
I think it's better than Guardians of the Galaxy.
As the bulk of our content.
I think it's better than Guardians of the Galaxy. We haven't ranked a whole lot of movies other than, like we've done at this point. Well, by this point, we'll have done 4. But as we record this, we've done 3.
Weird.
So
I've heard some weird things about just past future me. We're going back to the future with this quick comment. I've heard some reports that part 3 is going to blow my mind as the best one.
But you haven't watched it yet because we're doing this in a strange order. We have finally gotten out of order with the podcast. I was waiting for it to happen because it's the thing that every podcaster talks about. They're like, when is this coming out?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I was wrong about January 11th, by the way. It is January 18th this is coming out.
Yeah, I thought so. I was like, that seems
Back to
soon.
the Future Part 3 will have come out on January 11th.
But I've heard that it's very very good. And I don't know what to feel. I'm like getting into this whole other world. Okay, Ethan, breakfast food
I think
on
they decided it for us. It's bacon and black coffee.
Bacon and black coffee.
I'm gonna make a case for it though, is because like it is, on one hand it is great. It's got bacon. Like it's bacon. Like that's what's up. On the other hand, there's like a lot of bitterness going on between a lot of characters. So I think black coffee is a great choice.
I do too. I also don't think black coffee is a bad thing.
No, it's just bitter.
There was a time in my life where like black coffee meant hangover, but black coffee now, well, if it's from my Keurig, it's for a hangover.
I don't particularly like black coffee.
Shop, even like a coffee shop, like a proper coffee shop.
Yeah, I'll still put like a little bit of something in it.
No, if I go to like a real coffee place, I get the...
Okay, well, I'm a little bit behind on coffee. I didn't have coffee until I was 22 years old, so I'm a little bit behind everybody else on coffee.
When I was at Christmas, my dad was like, how do you have your coffee? And I was like, you get it out of the Keurig. And just so we're all clear, Keurig coffee is garbage.
Yeah.
Like, I'll drink it, obviously, because it's coffee, but it's not good.
Yeah, it's just not that hard to make coffee.
Do you have like a real coffee maker?
I mean, I have a Mr. Coffee.
Is that what you make your coffee? Weird.
Why is that weird?
I have a Keurig.
I don't feel like spending that much money. Well, I haven't gotten to the kind of gift areas in my life yet where people give me Keurigs.
Or KitchenAids. But anyway, my dad was like, how do you take your coffee? And I was like, I'm with a healthy amount of cream and 2 sweet and lows. And he was like, excuse me?
2 sweet and lows is a lot.
It's Christmas Day.
It's still like 2 sweet and lows. Okay, so I thought that I'll take 2 packets of regular sugar, like equal, but like sweet and low is strong. I remember the first time when I was first learning to drink coffee, I would take it like maybe 3 or 4 packets of sugar, and I thought that sweet and low was the same thing. I thought that they matched up. Too much. And I put 4 packets of sweet and low in, and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, it's like drinking a flan.
Exactly. It was like I was just having liquid cheesecake, shoved in my mouth.
Burning hot
liquid cheesecake. But yeah, so I'm going to make that case for black coffee and bacon.
Does black coffee not have sugar?
Correct.
By rule?
If you ask for black coffee, it has nothing in it.
Correct. But black coffee with sugar still is black.
Right, but it's black coffie with sugar.
Do you ever drink black coffee that way? Black coffee with a sweet and low?
That's primarily how I drink coffee.
I do a healthy amount of cream and 2 sweet and lows. Because why wouldn't I?
I mean, I'm all in favor of coffee creamer. I'm in favor of drinking coffee however you want it. I'm tired. Leave coffee shaming in 2017.
Let's do that.
Leave coffee shaming in 2017. I'm going to tweet that when we're done with this.
Leave prequel shaming in 2017. What?
No. Bring a healthy amount of prequel shaming to 2018 with you. We're going to need it. Because people are starting to hate The Last Jedi. Because they've forgotten how bad it used to be.
Because they watched Empire, which, people are wrong, dude.
Just don't even finish that statement, bro. Because we're going to get into something that's going to get us in a lot of trouble right now. Because I'm going to say a phrase that's going to make everybody in the world turn on me. I'm going to get death threats when we get to Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah? Well, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm going to
set up a post office box to get death threats.
We're going to start asking questions, comments, or death threats at the end of every episode.
Speaking of the end of every episode, it's come that time again when we end this episode. Thank you guys for listening. I have been Ethan Edgehill. He's been Tyler Carlin. You can find both of us on Twitter and Instagram. He is at AmeriCarlin. That's America RLIN. And I am at WowNow, but the O's are zeros. And you can find both of us if you want to tweet at the conglomerate at Baconandeggs23. And what do we got? We got YouTube now, so if you want to hit us up on the Joe YouTube, it's just Baconandeggsmedia. And Patreon,
you can subscribe.
And patreon.com/baconandeggs if you want to help us out. Throw us a couple bucks to help keep the lights on, help us keep doing this.
And there's actually a new reward on Patreon. If you are a $15 supporter on Patreon, we will get you a custom a custom Bacon and Eggs graphic made that we will have printed and we will sign and send to you, which is very exciting if you're interested in being a patron of the show.
Just throw us
and have your own little.
Throw us a couple bucks if you want. If you can help, we really appreciate it. This podcast is made possible by people like you. We're not sellouts just yet, and we, are bringing this free to you guys.
Did you talk about the Facebook group?
I have not yet talked about the Facebook group. I did everything else, so I was going to let you talk about that.
The Facebook group is, if you're looking for the best way to get in contact with Ethan and I and the rest of the Bacon and Eggs community, the Facebook group is the place to be. There are polls in there. We have decided episode content on there. There's always great discussion. There's dank memes.
I learned something about bees in the Facebook group today.
Bees not only dying at an alarming rate, but are attracted to... I'm literally,
among some of my friends, a bee authority, which is terrifying because I know nothing about bees.
You know that they were dying.
They are dying at a less alarming rate now. However, there is legislation going through the House right now to legalize some very harmful pesticides that could harm bee colonies.
It's not good, man.
Save the bees.
Call your representative.
Call your local representative. You did it for net neutrality. Do it for the bees.
Do it for the bees. Do it for the. Don't do it.
Vine's
for the
dead where it belongs.
Yes. So the Facebook group is definitely the place to be. There's a link in the description. We have a ton of fun there. And next week we'll be covering Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
So Ethan will get you his links.
Dormammu, I'm here to bargain for free movies. But I know for a fact it is on Netflix. So
it is on Netflix.
If you don't have
so
Netflix, sorry.
We can probably get a brand deal out of that. Not
yeah,
brand deal,
probably.
Like
we'll work on that. We'll work on that. On getting you a free month of Netflix. That's the plan. So hopefully, maybe by the time that we get Doctor Strange, we'll have a free month of Netflix for you. I'm going to do that soon.
Yay!
See if they can help us out there. But anyway, our artwork is designed by Vashaun Brandon. We have his contact information readily available because he still refuses to create his own business email. And you can get us that information by either asking us or going to baconandeggsmedia@gmail.com and emailing us there. Until next week, I don't think I have anything else. You have anything else?
I got nothing else.
Until next week, arrivederci.
Artificial intelligence.